It's time to talk about the Frankenstein monsters or the Frankenstein creations, the extraordinary political rehabilitation, or one might say reanimation, of Robert Jenrick, the man many in Westminster now quietly tip as Kemi Badenoch's successor and a future leader of the Conservative Party. This is not satire. This is British politics in 2025. Jenrick is not merely a comeback kid, he is, in the eyes of some, the party's last best hope, and that should terrify anyone with even a flicker of democratic and moral instinct. Let's begin with a brief inventory. Jenrick is the Shadow Justice Secretary. Justice. Let that linger for a moment. This is a man who unlawfully approved a £1 billion housing development, allegedly, to save a Tory donor £45 million in tax, a man whose actions were formally considered unlawful by his own department. And yet, just this week, Jenrick filmed himself berating alleged fare dodgers on the Jubilee line, puffing out his chest like a sort of cosplay inspector, all the time, like a cosplay Inspector Clouseau, all the time pontificating about law-breaking being out of control. This from a man who helped a billionaire dodge tax and then stayed in office. He is, as Kemi Badenoch once said, in a rare moment of veracity, a man with a whiff of impropriety, though that didn't stop her making him Shadow Justice Secretary the minute she needed a loyalist. Irony in the brief that she gave him. Power, it seems, deodorizes. Then there's the curious case of the invented accolade. Jenrick, ever eager to cast himself as a modern-day Harold Wilson, claimed to be the joint youngest cabinet minister since the Second World War, alongside Wilson and Haig. It was a flattering fabrication. He was not the youngest, not even close. Wilson was 31, Haig 34, Jenrick a comfortable 37. This wasn't a rounding error, it was an intentional flourish designed to burnish his credentials, and a blatant lie constructed with care and then proudly aired like flatulence. He's also insisted that anyone who lies on their CV should resign, so should we take that as his own resignation letter? Jenrick's political CV is not just padded, it is stuffed to the point of rapture and with ethical failings, a driving ban, lockdown rule breaking, misuse of expenses, political donations from shell companies with ties to tax havens. All of this is alleged. Who knows if it's true? But these are the rumours that are going around. Tens of thousands from opaque outfits with links to sanctioned oligarchs and Israeli arms dealers, all apparently recorded, all ignored, and when confronted, nothing but a change in wording, no apology, no explanation, just a shrug and a pivot. Surely these allegations need to be addressed at some point. They can't just go around the place, collecting like dust. Labour has rightly weaponised his hypocrisy as an open secret that Jenrick is on manoeuvres, but watching him try to pass off a Labour Prime Minister's achievement as his own is a boast too far. Well, even the press, the Tory press, is beginning to smell the staleness of the underarm overreach. But in today's Westminster, shamelessness is not a flaw, it's a feature. Jenrick is not merely alleged to be dishonest, he's increasingly dangerous. And in his desperation to carve out a populist niche, he's cozied up to the online far right. He's painted over murals made by refugee children or put up for refugee children. He speaks of immigration as if it were a medieval plague. He's called for David Starkey, yes, the man who said too many damn blacks to be made a duke. And he's extended political handshakes to individuals with anti-Semitic records while simultaneously positioning himself as the moral voice on racism. This is the most extraordinary litany of contradictions. It's not politics, it's performance art, ugly, cynical, and deeply corrosive. And when it comes to performance, he is one of a handful of parliamentary characters who can stand up in the Commons chamber and pontificate without notes. He's one of a handful of people who can still do it. And for that, of course, I take my hat off to him. His skill in the chamber is impressive. But to return to the central question, is this truly the best the Conservative Party can offer? A man whose greatest talent is not governance but surviving scandal by generating more noise than accountability? Well, there is another person in the dim and recent memory who was equally able flamboyantly to improvise a speech without notes, hair going everywhere. Whoop! Let's stain the sofa. And a man whose flirtation with truth was rare. A man whose name has become a punchline among Labour MPs. Honest Bob, they sneer. There's something tragic in all of Jenrick's story, not just because of what it says about him, but about us, about a system that tolerates and even rewards what appears to be duplicity. It just overlooks it. As long as the press cycle is favourable and the outrage can be managed. Jenrick hasn't changed. But the context has, because in that context where Kemi Badenoch flails and Farage looms, the bar is no longer lowered, the bar has been buried. And Jenrick seems to be the only person rising above it. I don't think he's a serious candidate for national leadership. He's a cautionary tale, a man who epitomises the collapse of political ethics into viral stunt work. That he's even being considered as a future leader or future prime minister is not merely laughable, it is damning. If Britain is to recover its sense of political seriousness, it must first refuse to indulge the likes of Robert Jenrick. It must say clearly and without apology, enough is enough. We've had Boris. We don't need Robert Jenrick. We need somebody who can stand up for truth, and who can manage a brief. We know that Kemi Badenoch can't. She can't manage a brief. She might manage truth, I don't know. Jenrick can manage a brief, but it seems his understanding of truth is being questioned. Either he needs to stand up and explain what all these rumours are, and he needs to clear the air, or he needs to stop these manoeuvres, because this isn't the right way. This isn't the right thing to do. We don't need another person who is doubted that you can't put your trust in. We've had that too recently. And Jenrick lacks the flamboyance and the entertainment value, frankly, of Boris.